An extremely attractive round of the Premier League has just closed. More importantly, this round begins to sketch more clearly the landscape of the season. In the championship race, the gap between the top team and the second-place team has begun to show signs of differentiation. Of course, that is not yet the final conclusion for the season, but at least we have seen clearer lines of this race. Not only that, within the top four, the situation is also gradually separating groups. The competition for the Champions League tickets is still very intense, but Manchester United is having a slight step up compared to the rest after important recent results. And certainly, it is impossible to ignore the relegation battle when the bottom area of the table is heating up round by round, with many teams only separated by a mere few points. All those notable developments will be present in this week's Premier League summary. And right now, let us come to the big match clashes that cannot be missed from the past round. Chelsea, 0-1, Newcastle. Let us start with Chelsea. I think what was most fun in this match lay in the situation where Chelsea players surrounded the miserable referee, Paul Tierney. A bit of entertainment at the beginning of the match could not hide the truth that Chelsea was not okay in this match. Chelsea collapsed 0-1 against Newcastle United, right at Stamford Bridge, in a match where the home team held much ball, but completely lacked sharpness in the finishing stage. The only goal came very early when Newcastle exploited an error in Chelsea's defensive system. Tino Livramento launched a through ball from the middle of the field for Joe Willock to dash down, breaking the offside trap before stretching horizontally for Anthony Gordon to easily cushion the ball into the empty net. After the conceded goal, Chelsea controlled the game, but the opportunities created were not dangerous enough to defeat Aaron Ramsdale. Into the second half, Liam Delap was brought onto the pitch to increase attacking power and created several notable moments, but the clearest opportunity for Chelsea was only the free kick by Reece James hitting the post in the last minutes. The match also caused attention by a humorous situation before the ball rolled when referee Paul Tierney was accidentally stuck in the middle of the huddle circle of Chelsea players, creating a moment that went viral strongly on social media. After the match, coach Eddie Howe was satisfied with the performance of the team, emphasizing that Newcastle showed resilience and good physical strength, while simultaneously praising Anthony Gordon for having an excellent performance with the decisive goal and effective pressing ability. On the opposite side, coach Liam Rosenior admitted the conceded goal originated from an error in Chelsea's new pressing system and thought that the team had personally gifted the opponent a goal. Arsenal 2-0. Everton. Arsenal had to wait until the last minutes to be able to subdue Everton with a 2-0 victory at the Emirates in a very tense match of the championship race. The away team almost caused a shock right in the first half when Dwight McNeil twice threatened the goal, including a shot hitting the bar and a situation forcing Ricardo Calafiori to clear the ball right on the goal line. Arsenal also argued with the referee when Kai Havertz was stepped on the heel by Michael Keane inside the penalty box, but VAR thought that the collision was not strong enough to blow for a penalty. Into the second half, Everton continued to be dangerous, and David Raya had to perform an excellent reflex to block the close-range finish of Beto. The deadlock was only broken in the 89th minute when the 16-year-old talent Max Dowman entered from the substitute bench, performed a cross, making Jordan Pickford lose his momentum, creating conditions for Victor Gyökeres to cushion the ball into the empty net. Not stopping there, when Everton pushed their entire formation up to find the equalizer, Dowman stole the ball and led straight from the middle of the field to score the goal, sealing 2-0, thereby becoming the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history at the age of 16 years and 73 days. After the match, coach Mikel Arteta called this one of the greatest moments Arsenal ever had at the Emirates, while simultaneously praising Dowman as a rare player at age 16 who can endure top-level pressure. The Spanish strategist also gave praise to Everton, admitting they were an opponent very well organized and extremely hard to be defeated. West Ham 1-1, Manchester City. Manchester City dropped 2 important points when drawing 1-1 on the field of West Ham, a result making the Premier League championship race with Arsenal become more fragile than ever. Before the ball rolled, the gap between the two teams was already 10 points after Arsenal's late victory against Everton. Therefore, Pep Guardiola's teachers and students were forced to win. City opened the score thanks to a very lucky finish by Bernardo Silva in the 33rd minute, when his hanging ball suddenly flew straight into the far corner of the goal, making goalkeeper Mads Hermansen helpless. However, The advantage of the away team only existed for exactly 4 minutes before Konstantinos Mavropanos jumped high to head the equalizer for West Ham from a set-piece situation. In the second half, Manchester City pressed strongly and continuously changed tactics to find the decisive goal. But the opportunities all in turn passed by. Mark Guehi missed a 10 out of 10 opportunity in injury time, while Erling Haaland continued to have his 4th consecutive match without scoring, despite being created several chances by Cherki and Doku. The Norwegian striker even clearly showed frustration when slamming his hand down on the pitch after a failed finish. After the match, Pep Guardiola still affirmed the championship race is not over. No, it is not over. We did not lose. The team is still fighting and playing better in the last 2 matches. However, this draw made City fall behind 9 points compared to Arsenal, although still having 1 match not yet played. Man UTD, 3-1. Aston Villa Manchester United gained an important 3-1 victory against Aston Villa at Old Trafford, thereby firmly consolidating the 3rd position and taking a big step further toward the Champions League slot next season. The first half took place quite slowly, when the decision to let Brian Mbeumo play as center forward instead of Benjamin Sesko made United lack a finisher in the penalty box, despite creating many crosses. The turning point came early in the second half, when Bruno Fernandes hung the ball from a corner kick for Casemiro to jump high to head the opening goal. However, the advantage of the home team did not last long when Ross Barkley shot into the net of Andre Onana after a second ball situation from Villa's corner. The difference once again came from Bruno Fernandes. The Portuguese midfielder performed the 2nd assist in the match, raising the total number to 16 assists this season for Matheus Cunha to dash down and score, putting United up 2-1. At the end of the match, Sesko entered from the substitute bench, then turned and finished neatly to seal the 3-1 victory. After the match, coach Michael Carrick praised Casemiro as a big player both on the pitch and in the dressing room, while simultaneously admitting the club will find it hard to completely replace the role of the Brazilian midfielder when he leaves the team in the summer. Carrick also emphasized Bruno Fernandes is a player no one wants to lose, in the context that the United captain is approaching very close to the record of 20 assists in 1 Premier League season. This victory helps United hold great self-determination in the top 4 race when the season has 8 rounds remaining. Liverpool 1-1. Tottenham. Liverpool was held to a 1-1 draw by Tottenham right at Anfield in a match where the home team once again dropped points in the last minutes. The army of Arne Slot opened the score in the first half thanks to a direct free kick by Dominik Szoboszlai. The Hungarian midfielder continued to show impressive free kick ability when scoring his 4th free kick goal in the Premier League this season, thereby approaching the record of 5 goals in 1 season. However, after the goal, Liverpool gradually lost the game and could not utilize opportunities to finish off the opponent. Tottenham, meanwhile, played with great effort and continuously caused pressure on 2 wings, especially with the energetic nature of Mathys Tel and Richarlison. The effort of the away team was finally rewarded in the 99th minute when Richarlison appeared at the right time to score the equalizer, bringing back a precious point in the relegation battle. This result helped Spurs have 30 points and temporarily stand at 16th, only 1 point above the danger group. After the match, coach Arne Slot admitted Liverpool personally made it difficult for themselves when unable to score the 2nd goal despite creating many opportunities, while pointing out that missing opportunities and lacking firm defense is a bad combination, making the team lose points many times this season. On the other side, coach Igor Tudor praised the fighting spirit of his students, affirming this is a very important point in the relegation journey when Tottenham still has many difficulties regarding personnel. When the Premier League season enters the most stressful stage, the matches in the lower half of the table become no less dramatic than the championship race. One of the most notable matches was the confrontation between Burnley and Bournemouth. The 0-0 draw result almost did not help anything for Burnley, in the context that they are sinking deep in the bottom group. In theory, the home team at Turf Moor had the return of main striker Zian Fleming after injury, but that was not enough to change the attacking face, lacking sharpness of the team. The match took place quite tediously when both teams lacked decisiveness in handling in the final 1/3 of the field. The significant opportunity only came in injury time when Enes Unal, on the side of Bournemouth, finished wide of the post from close range after a favorable horizontal stretch by Adrian Truffert. On Burnley's side, there was only one notable moment with Jadon Anthony's shot hitting the crossbar. With only one victory in the last 21 matches, Burnley currently is 8 points behind the safety group, and the risk of relegation is increasingly appearing clearly. Meanwhile, the match between Sunderland and Brighton brought a turning point for the race in the middle area of the table. Sunderland continued to cause disappointment when losing 0-1 right on the home field, Stadium of Light. The only goal of the match was scored by Yankuba Minteh in a quite lucky way. In a situation of losing balance when performing a horizontal cross, the ball touch of this winger accidentally put the ball through the narrow gap between goalkeeper Melker Elborg and the near post. Before that, Sunderland used to think that they had the opening goal when Chris Rigg put the ball into the net after the heading assist of Omar Alderete, but VAR denied it because of an offside error. This failure made Sunderland receive the third consecutive defeat on the home field, simultaneously creating more pressure before the Tyne-Wear derby with Newcastle United. Another goalless draw took place between Crystal Palace and Leeds United at Selhurst Park. This was a typical match for the pragmatic approach of teams currently in the middle area of the table. Palace controlled the ball more with about 58% duration, but encountered difficulty before the multi-layered defensive system of Leeds. The away team proactively played deep with a low-block defensive mass, limiting maximum space for the speed-rich wingers of Palace. However, Leeds also did not create many dangerous opportunities from counterattacks, making the match close with a 0-0 draw, a result considered acceptable for both in the context that they mainly aimed at the goal of accumulating safe points. At City Ground, Nottingham Forest and Fulham also shared points after a goalless draw, but this match caused attention by controversial VAR situations. Dan Ndoye thought he had become the hero of Nottingham Forest when accelerating to score in the second half, but the goal was denied because of an offside error after the referee consulted VAR. Before that, Ndoye himself also brought back a penalty for the home team after the foul of Calvin Bassey, but this decision was also cancelled because of an offside error from the previous play. The team of coach Vitor Pereira played more brightly after the break and almost had a goal when Ola Aina launched a shot hitting the crossbar from outside the penalty box. Meanwhile, Fulham almost did not create significant pressure when having no shot on target during the whole match. Even so, 1 point was still enough to help Nottingham Forest temporarily escape the relegation group thanks to a better goal difference than West Ham United. The series of matches of round 30 did not bring too many goals, but reflected clearly the tactical and psychological picture of teams in the lower half of the table. When the season enters the final stage, each point can become a decisive turning point for the relegation race, as well as the position in the top middle of the table. The standings are showing an extremely clear differentiation between target groups: the championship race, the top 4 battle for European Cups, and the extremely stressful relegation area. At the peak of the table, Arsenal is holding in hand almost absolute self-determination. The Gunners currently have 70 points after 31 matches, creating a gap of 9 points compared to the team following behind, Manchester City. Not only leading, Arsenal also possesses an extremely impressive goal difference, showing that they do not only win, but win very convincingly. The stable form chain in recent times is helping the London team move very close to the championship if continuing to maintain stability in the final rounds. Right behind, the race into the top 4 is becoming extremely stressful. Manchester United with 54 points is holding a big advantage in the race to win tickets for the Champions League. Meanwhile, Aston Villa, although standing 4th with 51 points, shows signs of stalling when losing consecutively in recent times. This makes the distance with Liverpool, 49 points, and Chelsea, 48 points, become more fragile than ever. Just one slip, and the top 4 situation can completely reverse. One of the biggest surprises of the season comes from Tottenham Hotspur. The London team currently only stands 16th with 30 points and is undergoing a chain of 4 consecutive defeats. From a position of competing for a European Cup slot, Tottenham now is forced to look down at the relegation group when the distance with the danger area is only exactly 1 point. This is clearly a disappointing season for the Spurs. In the middle area of the table, teams like Brentford or Newcastle United are playing the role of annoying stumbling blocks. Newcastle is especially notable as recent form has signs of recovery, opening the opportunity to burst into the European Cup group if stability is maintained. Meanwhile, the relegation battle is becoming extremely tense. Burnley with 20 points and Wolverhampton with 16 points are almost very close to the championship next season. The remaining relegation slot is likely to be a direct competition between Nottingham Forest and West Ham United when both are having 29 points. The sprint stage of the Premier League this season promises to still have a lot of drama in all 3 major races of the season. The top scorer race in the Premier League is entering a hot stage when the form of top strikers begins to have clear fluctuations. Although still leading the scoring list with 22 goals, Erling Haaland of Manchester City is undergoing a series of matches not truly effective. In the last 12 matches in the Premier League, Haaland only scored 3 goals, showing his form is having signs of stalling right at the decisive stage. Behind Haaland, Igor Thiago of Brentford is emerging as a formidable opponent with 18 goals. Not only that, the names chasing behind are also creating significant pressure. Antoine Semenyo, 15 goals, continues to maintain stable form, while João Pedro of Chelsea has had 14 goals and still has the opportunity to break through in the late season stage. Besides, the chasing group also has notable strikers like Victor Gyökeres of Arsenal or Danny Welbeck of Brighton. The distance between positions is not too large, therefore only needing a chain of explosive matches, the situation of the top scorer race can completely change, especially in the period where the scoring efficiency of Haaland is put under a big question mark. After round 30 of the Premier League, the typical team this week reflects quite clearly the names that are creating a big influence in the race of the season. Most prominent in the wooden frame is David Raya of Arsenal. The Spanish goalkeeper continues to have a firm match against Everton with many important saves, thereby touching the milestone of 15 clean sheets in the domestic league, the highest number among the top 5 national championships in Europe this season. In the defense, Arsenal continues to leave an imprint with the firm performance of William Saliba and Ricardo Calafiori. Saliba played calmly and almost locked down every counterattack of Everton, while Calafiori had a very important clearance right on the goal line. The 2 remaining positions belong to Tino Livramento of Newcastle United and Abdulkadir Kusanov on the side of Manchester City, those who both had prominent performances in defensive ability and attacking support. The midfield witnesses the dominance of Manchester United when both Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes played extremely prominently against Aston Villa. Casemiro controlled the midfield with experience, while Bruno continued to express the role of conductor with 2 assists. Besides, Martin Zubimendi helped Arsenal maintain control of the game thanks to the ability to pass and regulate match tempo before Everton. On the attack, decisive moments belonged to Anthony Gordon when scoring the goal, helping Newcastle down Chelsea, Benjamin Sesko with the goal sealing the victory for Man United, and Richarlison, the person who brought back the precious late equalizer for Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield. Those are moments showing why they deserve to be present in the typical team of this round. And like that, another round of the Premier League has closed, but the big stories of the season are still heating up day by day. The championship race still has turns ahead. The top 4 battle is increasingly stressful, and the relegation area, almost every match carries a life or death meaning. When the season enters the sprint stage, every mistake can be paid for. Let us together wait and see what surprises the next round will bring. I am commentator Anh Quan, and see you again in the Premier League summary next week.